flavor for your ear. Epic Spotlight. Putting the spotlight on positive goings on the real people that have chosen a real path. The who's, the whys, and the hows are being shared.
We got another one, but before we get going, we got to take care of some housekeeping notes. Today's episode is sponsored by Epic Mortgage. Whether you're buying, refinancing, or investing, call Epic at 708-905-5300. That's 708-905-5300. It's your dreams, your goals, so let's plan together. Now on with the show. Today we have Martha Allen, a remarkable figure dedicated to guiding both established and aspiring couples on a transformative journey towards a fulfilling relationship. Martha's approach revolves around three key pillars: faith, finance, and foundation, offering couples a profound understanding and connection that empowers them to navigate their future together. As an inspirational speaker with over 40 years of experience, Martha has influenced many couples planning their lives and weddings, helping them strengthen their relationships. Martha Allen has authored several books on relationship dynamics and personal growth. She has also traveled extensively as a keynote speaker, sharing her insights on building strong, resilient partnerships at various conferences and events worldwide. Welcome, Martha Allen.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you all inviting me to the podcast. I am Martha Allen, and I have a desire to help people. And some people, that type of desire is a burden, but that's just God's gift to me. And I've helped people over 30 years in social services, going through all walks of life and dealing with several types of experiences to help them improve their lives, get their lives better, and move on in life successfully.
Definitely. No, I appreciate you coming in. And I was curious, how did you come up with some of these key pillars that we really should focus on in our relationships?
Coming up with the key pillars is just my experience. I also been married over 40 years, and I've had a divorce that where the marriage only lasted 3 months. So I've had some experience in life, and with my experience and with the experience of relationships, seeing what caused them to fall apart, seeing what caused them not to be able to mend together. If you don't have a foundation of faith of something, and now faith does not necessarily mean a particular religion. It's like your faith in God. Now, you can call your God whatever name you want. That's not the issue here. The issue here is find something so when life get rough, because no matter how good the relationship is, it's going to be some turmoil or some storms and rains coming down the road. And if you strengthen yourself in the good times, when things are going well, do your spirituality, understanding your marriage, understanding what your spouse mean to you or what your partner mean to you and what you mean to your partner, then when you going through these storms, you're able to weather the storm. You're able to do it without doing alcohol or drugs. You're able to hold on and have somewhere to go to meditate, to talk to a higher power who brought us to this earth to begin with. And he's also our Father. So we can go to him when we go into these things because we've read the word, we understand the word, and we lived it. In other words, if the Bible say respect, a woman should honor her husband and he should love his wife. And then we understand that that means both of us. The woman should also love her husband and the husband should honor his wife, which is just flipping it back and forth. And understanding these things, when you go through these hard times, you're able to reach back to that strength that you learned from that understanding and move on. Now, that's still in with the faith. When you go and do things, you have something to hold on, something to help you through the storm. Finance is something that tears apart so many marriages. Love alone is just not enough to carry you through life, roads and valleys. We have to have certain things in our backpack of life to carry us through. And faith, finance, and foundation is what we need in our backpack. But these things carry a lot of working towards. It don't just come because you said it and say you got it. You got to work at it. You got to learn about it. You got to experience it. And you got to be prepared when the storm come or when problems come. So many beautiful relationships could have lasted only if they had planned financially better in the beginning. There's a lot of relationships feel lopsided where they don't think a woman should work, a woman should be at home, a woman. That may be so. And I have no problem with people who believe that. But a woman should be able to take care of herself at the lifestyle she living at if the spouse deceased and without some kind of career, some kind of job experience, then she would not be able to do that. So it's important whether you're a wife or a live-at-home husband and the wife works, but both spouses need to have something in their backpack of life to go on this road so that if life hit them hard and they lose their spouse, they are able to continue to live at the level in which they have became accustomed.
No, I've seen that too. Definitely just being in the space that I'm in, obviously I deal with a lot of husband and wives that are trying to buy and, obviously some of the spousing may not work or don't even know about the financing because the husband takes it or vice versa. And that definitely, down the road could be a major impact when that spouse passes away. Now that wife has to be, the breadwinner, has to know where the bills, and she may not know anything. I've had instances where they've called and said, can you tell me the bills that are outstanding? Because she just didn't know because their communication was not there within their relationship.
All right. And a lot of times they just walk away and lose all their profit, off all their business, all the real estate because they don't know. So they just walk away from it because they don't know. They don't know. My mother was a victim of my family like that because she didn't have the education and she needed to be able to navigate these issues in life. And a lot of people deal with it. Even if they don't get divorced, if they don't get die, if they get divorced, you still got, the husband might have left you with the house, but can you take care of the bills? Do you know how it works? Can you take care of the mortgage? Do you know how to get a mortgage? Do you know how to get how to work if it's a foreclosure without losing it? And then sometimes you don't, you lose it. It's
definitely.
Hey, Dante. Is home insurance required?
The answer is yes. Home insurance is required on all transactions. We want to make sure that the house is insured in case of any major accidents. Have a great day. Now, obviously, finance you reference is a common issue in couples' relationships. What are some other common issues that you see people are facing right now dealing with relationships?
Not preparing themselves for the relationship, not preparing themselves before they decide to prepare to join up with another person. And self-preparation is so important and it makes such a difference. I've seen people where they self-preparated before they got married, and I've seen people who have not. And the difference between the two is drastic. I've known a couple guys who decided that they did not want to get married until they got their career off the ground. Yes, they dated women. And my thing is, if you date women and you decide I don't want a committed relationship, or you date a man and you let him know I don't want a committed relationship, and both people understand it, then the relationship, that's fine. That's something two people decided. But I think men and women should hold back that commitment until they got themselves together. Meaning know who they are, committed to their faith. So whatever they got to walk through in life, that God will be with them. Also, prepare themselves with their career so that they can feed themselves if they're in a relationship and it falls apart. They can get a career or a job and live at the lifestyle they choose to live at. And these are the things that also happens in a relationship other than finance, because if they don't prepare themselves, life can be hard. They begin to either couples we end up live in transient housing because they didn't prepare themselves, and thinking that, that's a good thing when transient housing is very expensive. They don't realize it. They think because they stand in this hotel room and they only paying $250 a week. $250 a week is $1,000 a month. You can get a decent apartment for that much. But they haven't educated themselves. They haven't prepared themselves with their life and their career. So all they looking for a roof over their head, not realizing if they use the little bit of money they got properly, they can live a better life. So preparing them, people, both male and female, preparing themselves for life. So when they meet someone that they choose to live and share their life with, that they can prepare their future together. Because they've already took care of themselves. They can prepare their future together instead of being married and just letting the wind go whichever way it blows and blow your relationship. You're more focused. We're married. Where do we want to go from here? How do we want our finance to grow? Do we need to get professional financial assistance? Where do we want to be 5 years from now? Do we want to grow a business together? And if you do, that means you all have to get to work, learning and training yourself and studying, taking classes or whatever it takes to achieve that career and that goal that you want to achieve as a couple. So that you won't get married making $10 an hour and your kid's 20 years old and you're still making $10 an hour and your wife has no income. You barely making it from day to day. And just because you keep the roof over your head and food on the table, that's a hard life. If couples focus more on the success of their relationship, getting along, complimenting each other on a regular basis, showing some kind of love, and that don't mean sex, but showing some kind of love every day. It might be a pinch on the cheek. It might be a tap on the shoulder. It might be just a wink in the eye. When it comes to couples, it might be just the way you look at them. They know that, hey, I got you. I can't do nothing right now, but we're going to work together. Some kind of way of constantly having a constant communication is very important. Couples have to work at a good relationship. It just don't happen. Instead of going out, hanging out with the girls all the time. Now, I ain't got nothing but people hanging out with their friends if they're married. Or guys hanging out with the boys all the time. Spend some time together, working together, learning together, building what it is you want, learning about the business you want to build together, and build it together so that 5 years, 10 years down the road, you might be able to have generational wealth being built. It don't just happen though. Now, a lot of times couples have problems with the woman spending too much money or the woman think the man is out cheating. Instead of going out the time you doing those things that takes away from your relationship, spend that time learning and preparing for a better future for both couples as well as the family.
I'm hearing continuing education, constantly getting better, because the better I am is the better spouse or mate I can be for my wife and my relationship, right? So, what I'm hearing you're saying is ultimately I need to be better for my spouse. I need to continue to constantly communicate, constantly, get education so I can provide for my family, so I can be, a positive thing in our relationship. Would you agree? I
agree. And both as well as the spouse. Now I'm saying both spouses have to take on this responsibility, because many times I see that the man takes on the responsibility and sometimes it's overwhelming for him.
Sure.
And he's doing everything he can for the family and the wife is constantly complaining. Instead of, tying up our bootstraps and getting there and working. Okay, what is it that you're going through today? You know, taking time out for each other to check in with each other so that the husband won't get overwhelmed just trying to protect the family, and the wife won't get overwhelmed feeling like she's being taken advantage of because she's doing everything at home and taking care of the kids and it's not being appreciated. Many times in relationship, you talked about finance. A man feel like if he works, then he controls all the money and all the bills. And, you know, dealing with finance, my belief is that even if you allot your wife a certain amount of money when you work and she does not, because there are a lot of couples like that, she should have some money of her own. And the man should have some money of his own. And the two, if they work, they should put 50% of their salary or whatever that amount is that they need to take care of the family in a joint account. They need to be open and honest and share with each other about what is going on, what bills need to be paid. They need to be open and honest and sharing so they can grow together. They know where they're at. They know what is needed. I did meet a gentleman. I was at a training in Atlanta about a month ago, and I was sharing with the gentleman that I did public speaking, and he said, "Well, what do you talk about?" I said, relationships. He was like, "Oh, could you help me?" And this guy was head of security at the particular hotel I was working at. I was staying at. And he asked me, he said, "You know, my wife always said, you know, my money, my money, my money. Could you help me with that?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "But hold on. She has a right to her money. And even if she does not work, she's taking care of that house. She's putting food on that table. She's keeping the house clean. Whatever she's doing, she's your wife. You should allot her a certain amount of money. She want to go out and with the girls and have a dinner. She shouldn't have to come to you every time she needed something, whether it's personal or just a dinner out with the girls, or maybe want to buy you a gift and don't wants to surprise you. Where the man, he shouldn't have to come to his wife every time he want to go out with the guys and say, you know, "I want to go out with the guys. Could you give me $50? I want to have a beer." No, he should be able to,
Sure.
you know. So that's why each of them should have their money. So the gentleman, I told him, I said, she should have her money. You should have your money. I said, but put together a joint account. You all should have at least 3 accounts where you all take care of the bills and expenses of the house, whether it's the house, vacation, whatever it is. You all put your money together in that particular one.
Am I a local lender? Yes, I can be, but I'm also a lender that is just a phone call, a Zoom meet, a direct message, or a text message away from working with you. The money that I can provide and the programs that I have can be shared in all states that I'm licensed in. I can be of service to you. Whether you're in Denver, Houston, Orlando, Chicago, Detroit, Fort Wayne, or Alexandria, I got your back. If you need me, just reach out and let me show you what I can do for you and your family. Now, is that a general example of what you would do? Like if you have a couple that comes to you and says, "Hey, we're having some issues, we're not communicating properly," what is kind of the first steps that you would want to do or questions that you want to ask them?
If they're not communicating properly?
Mm-hmm. Or they're just coming to you in general, you know, saying, "Hey, we're having some issues," mm-hmm. you know, and like you said, most of these issues are based on communication or finances. You know, what are kind of the first steps, you know, that you would suggest that they need to look into?
First of all, are you all being open and honest and communicating with each other? Or do the conversation becomes an argument? You cannot achieve anything in the heat of frustration. You have to have a calm mind. And just telling some, you know, some women, I think, do this more than men. But they like, I want to answer right now. No. You got to give them mind a chance to think about the situation, evaluate the situation. So you share with each other what it is, what the issue is. And then you come back and say, well, I don't want this to tear too long. So this is the issue. And can we talk about it in a day or two? You know, we don't want it to get out of hand, but we do need to come up with some answers. So that allows the wife and the husband time to think about things, time to evaluate things, maybe time to do research on how they can make that situation better. Find out if they have at least 3 accounts in their family. Find out if, like I said, being open and honest, because you want to make sure that if someone can't be open and honest with their spouse, then that's a problem, because you don't know if the spouse is doing the right thing, because they may be doing drugs on the side. They may overindulging in alcohol. They may be overindulging in marijuana, legal or not. You have to control these things. And if that becomes a problem, then that's when you still come together and communicate about seeking help.
And drugs nowadays is kind of a subjective word. It's not just necessarily, like you said, weed or something like that. It's also alcohol, it's gambling, it's, any
crack,
addiction.
cocaine.
Yeah. Or even social media, to some degree.
Social media is a whole different...
It's a different animal.
Especially within the last 10 years. I mean, it was something 10 years ago we never thought we'd have a phone that's controlling our life, where, that meant more than watching your kids and your kid almost get hit, or paying attention to your spouse when they're talking about serious problems. Or you and your spouse watching TV, but both of y'all on the phone. Sometimes, I know this one couple, they sit on the couch and they on the phone, they texting, cheating, and sitting there together doing it.
Wow.
So you have to be a person, first of all, I would tell a couple. I had a couple in front of me. Number one, you all need to start working on a plan on making this relationship work. Start at the beginning. Now, I am a coach. I'm not a counselor. And I have to make that clear. And even in my book, I make it clear on the back. If you need counseling, and even throughout my book, professional counseling, please seek it. But I have to let couples know that you need to come together on the same page. You need to talk about your wants, make a list of those. He makes a list of his wants. You make a list of where you want to be in 5 years. He make a list where he want to be in 5 years. And you all come together and you talk about these lists without getting upset. If anything that you're communicating brings the communication to a point where it's getting upset or upsetting each other or getting out of hand, it don't mean you don't talk about it, but you let it rest and come back and talk about it with a calmer head. And that's both for the male and female. Communication is so important, and it's so many ways you can do it. But if I had a couple starting out, they'll have to start out with right now where they're at and what they want. And find things that means that is important, should I say, to both parties, and start there. And after they compare their current experience and what it is they want, compare their 5-year experience. Now they both have to understand that we cannot get there if both people are not willing to work at it.
Now you talked about the third pillar, obviously, which is foundation. How do you make a strong foundation in a relationship? What are some of the key factors in doing that?
Faith and preparation. Those are the main key factors. Faith and preparation. It's like you sell houses, and you find some houses built on sand. You might find some houses built on dirt. But then you may find another house that's built on a concrete slab. The house that built on sand, which means people who have not planned at all to be in a relationship and to grow together and to make it strong and to be able to live the dreams and do the travel and live out what it is they want in their life. But it don't come free. And you do have to work and prepare for it. Good jobs are out there, but you have to be able to be prepared for it. Good businesses and careers are out there, but you got to get your head straight and be prepared for it. You got to prepare for your career. You got to prepare for your own personal health and security and growth.
Yeah.
Because there are times where you're not sure where this relationship gonna work. So if it doesn't, you got to be able to rethink the situation and decide how you're going to handle it. Whether you're going to get counseling, give it a chance. I do recommend people do give it a chance. But there are some circumstances that I talk about in my book that is non-negotiable. And that's abuse and violence. Because abuse and violence only wrecks the foundation even more. Person living in the house and saying somebody didn't do anything to prepare them their lives. And when they got grown, they realized they wasn't prepared and they still wasn't willing to pay the price. They rather stay on the phone and talk to people that ain't doing nothing, ain't going nowhere either. So speaking of that, is who you hang around means a lot. You are surrounded, the people you associate with. The house that's built on, so people understand they may not even make it to marriage. And if they do, it's going to be hard every step of the way. And I've seen people who got married and didn't prepare and stayed together 30, 40 years, but it's hard. You could see how they live their life, where they live, even if they got a house, but you could just look around and see it's hard. It's a hard time for them. Person that built their house on dirt, it might be a little bit, they might have got, say a high school diploma and maybe some kind of career, maybe even a college education, but did not do any additional planning past that. And depending on what it is they majored in will determine whether their life is going to be successful or a struggle. So they may weather the storm a little bit better than the person that built their house on sand, but they're going to have it hard too. Now, the person that built their house on concrete slab, they're going to have some storms and rain. We all are. But they're going to be able to weather that storm. These are people who got their education, who chose a career or a trade. And I'm not saying everybody needs to go to college, but something to keep your lifestyle, where you keep food on the table, a roof over your head, and live a pleasant life where you can have more than just food on the table and a roof over your head. You can take the family on a vacation from time to time. Person that built a house on a concrete slab is going to be able to weather a lot of those storms because they prepared themselves. They prepared their career. And they decided to work with their spouse. And their spouse decided to work with them on planning a life together. What kind of plan are we going to have this year? And planning out what they're going to do, about what it's going to cost, how we going to get there, how we going to save and prepare for it. Do we need to go back and take a trade? Is it something we can learn together, a trade even online that we can do at home to bring in some extra money so we can have extra things that we would like to enjoy life with? So those are just some of the differences on building your house on a concrete, building your house on dirt, and building it on sand.
Yeah,
a house on the concrete might not be, it might never get to the point of divorce. That don't mean they might not life get rough. That don't mean they might not get close to it.
Sure.
But because they built a house on a concrete slab, they're able to weather the storm.
No, that's great information. And to kind of wrap it up, as far as communication strategies, I mean, do you have anything in particular, like, strategies to just have better communication with your spouse?
Having better communication with your spouse would be, if you have an issue, then you let your wife or your husband know, listen, darling, or honey, whatever you call them, I want to talk about this. You might need a little time to think about it, but I do think we need to come back together and resolve this issue. That's one way of strengthening communication. Also, letting your spouse know, because life and work and job and family can get all in the way, but you still got to find time, both the male and the female, the husband and wife, let each other know that, you are still important. Still keep that date night. Even if money is tight, hey, the kids going to bed early on Friday, me and you going to get some spritz or something, and we going to, put on some nice music, and we're going to laugh about the good old days.
There you go.
So it's not how much you spend on that date. It's about the love that's being shared.
Hey, Dante, will my mortgage stay the same?
Well, it depends on what type of mortgage you get. If you get a 30-year fix or a 20-year fix or any type of fixed rate product, the principal and interest will remain the same throughout the duration of the loan that you're getting. But what could fluctuate is your real estate taxes and your homeowner's insurance. That's always going to fluctuate on a year-to-year basis based on the county that you live in, as well as just the insurance provider that you have. So can your payment go up? The answer is yes. But your principal and interest portion of it, if you have a fixed rate product, will remain the same. If you have any more questions, give me a call. Have a great day.
Angry is not a time to solve a problem. It's a time to let them know I'm having this problem. I want you to think about it, and I need some time to think about it. But this is, I'm too upset to talk about it. No disrespect, but we can talk about it later. Physical abuse is a no-brainer. That should be never a time a person should physically abuse another person, period. If you feel that way, then that's not the place you need to be. Or you need to go take a walk, whatever, so it won't lead to that.
Martha, this has been great information today. I know this is kind of a prelude to your book. I mean, can we talk about it at all, or?
Oh yeah, we can. We can talk about the book a little bit.
What's the title?
The title of the book is Love Journey Roadmap.
Love Journey Roadmap.
Yes, and it's more of a roadmap. There is a love story that it talks about in the beginning, but it's not like your typical love story book. The roadmap is because many times people want answers. And, if people want entertainment, yeah, read the love stories. I ain't got no problem with those. But if you want some answers, then Love Journey Roadmap may help answer a lot of questions that you may have or give you a lot of direction. I was talking about the book with my husband, and the book starts out with faith. And he was like, well, it's coming on pretty strong with the faith. I'm like, you have to let people know where to go, what to find, because he was saying I had quite a few scriptures that it was talking about. Well, I want to start you out on a firm foundation. If I'm talking about faith, finance, and foundation, I need to show it in my book. So my book starts out with love story, then with faith foundation. Then I talk about red flags. He asked me, he said, why you talk about red flags so early in your book? I said, because red flags happened to me so early in my life.
Got it.
And my thing is, just like it happened early in my life, it may be happening early in other people's lives.
Sure.
So I talk about the red flags. My red flag was being deadbolted in the house. I also talk about subliminal messages, so people can identify if something really going on here now, or at least give it attention to evaluate the situation. Because my situation, some people could have overlooked it, but I knew it was serious enough to leave. My husband locked me in the house over a trivial situation. I didn't know the door was locked. I didn't know he had deadbolt the back door, the front door. And I told him, I don't argue. And that's another thing. I don't recommend people argue. That's why when people argue back and forth, many times it leads to disrespect. It leads to being physically violent, and it could lead to other serious issues. So I don't argue back and forth. That don't mean me and my husband don't disagree. But I'm like, well, this is the problem. We need to talk about it. You need to think about it. We need to come back. Well, my first husband, he wanted to argue back and forth. I told him I don't argue. I said, it was a plant broke. I moved at his house when we got married, and he had a pedestal where he set plants on the table, and I watered the plant, and the plant fell out and broke the glass table. I'm like, fine, we'll take it to the shop. I'll pay for it. Get another glass cut for it. That ain't nothing to fight over. So he's arguing. He's fussing. He wasn't cussing me out, but he was fussing. And Deadpool locked the back door. Deadpool locked the back door. So I was like, listen, I told you I don't argue. I said, where's my coat? I got my coat. I was 3 months pregnant. 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, I got to take a walk. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. I do not argue. So I get to my coat and go to the front door. It was locked. I didn't have a key. Go to the back door, it's locked. I don't have a key. I'm about 100 pounds and he's about he's about 250 pounds. And he's a police officer. That didn't scare me. I told him, if you don't unlock these doors, I will take a chair and I will bust that window. He unlocked those doors. Now, prior to that, we were talking about financing. Now, this particular story is not in the book, but these are the reasons I wrote the second chapter. He asked me, did I have any money? We had, like I said, we only been married 3 years. I said, yes. He said, put your money in my account. I'm like, is my name going to be on your account? He said, no. I'm like, well, I'm not putting any more money in your account. Now, had I put my money in his account without my name being on it, when I left that night, I wouldn't have had no money to get a hotel room.
Right.
So that's another thing I talk about in the book, preparing people to prepare themselves. Yes, when people get married, it's all happy and everything, but you still have to look out for yourself. My thing is, you have to save a little of yourself for yourself. And so because I kept some finance in my own bank account, I was able to leave. A lot of women are not able to leave because the man takes all the money. And so when he treats her any kind of way, she has to put up with it. I mean, I've had women who, since I wrote the book, who said, they worked, but, the husband took the money. And the bills got paid, but he abused her. So the thing is, you have to always have your own money, control your own money. So I talk to people about how to plan in the second chapter, because I talk strongly about staying together as a marriage in the beginning when I talk about spirituality, but at the same time, not at any cost. So I left, and like I said, the rest is pretty much history because I was not going to stay in an abuse situation. So I didn't want women to stay, or men, stay in an abuse situation. So in the second chapter, I talk about ways you can prepare yourself. This is what I mean by save a little of yourself for yourself. Have a plan just in case you get to the point where it is unacceptable. Like I said, deadbolting me in the house is unacceptable. It's like being in jail in your own home. No, that's unacceptable. So if you reach a situation, you do try it a lot in your marriage. But if there's a situation that's so serious that you have to leave, you be prepared financially to do so. I go on to talk about finance and preparing yourself. And if you haven't been married and are not married, prepare yourself. If you're already married, then, continue to work together. And sometimes people have to rethink their own mind, on finance, on how they treat each other, so that they can have a better relationship. They don't have to do the same. If they grew up with an abusive father or mother, they don't have to be abusive to their family. Just because their mother or father squandered the money and drank alcohol or did drugs, don't mean they have to do it. Find ways to, and if you don't do these things, you have more time for each other to learn things to make life better for each other and enjoy those moments. So I talk about finance. I also talk about children, being a parent and sharing responsibilities. I also talk about how to keep the relationship fresh, let each other know how much that you do care, even though life is happening. You know, you got to find, if it's a few minutes a day, it don't have to be a lot. It's the value that you put in those few minutes or those few seconds that counts. Letting your spouse know or your mate know that you value them. But physical abuse, verbal abuse, you don't do those things to people you truly love. And if you do, then you need to reevaluate what love is, change some of the thought patterns in your own mind, and come together and work together. I don't believe in a woman abusing a man, and I don't believe in a man abusing a woman. It goes both ways. I don't believe if one made more money than the other one, that they should put the other one down. I don't think men or women, whoever's the house parent, should be put down if the house parent is doing their job in the house, taking care of the kids, feed them, cleaning the house, whatever it is that's needed in the house, they taking care of them, then they should get the same respect as that person that's going out punching that clock every day. Because had that person not been there, who's going to take care of these kids? Who's going to keep the house clean? Who's going to make sure food in the pantry and the refrigerator? Who's going to make sure the laundry is clean? And then so many men come home and they overlook that. They don't think, oh, she ain't bringing no money in, so I'm the boss. No, that ain't right.
As a regional mortgage broker licensed in 9 states, this gives me the opportunity to work in different areas of the country to give me better insight in the challenges that so many first-time home buyers and investors face. I'm here to help. At Epic Mortgage, it's your dreams, it's your goals. So let's plan together. Have an epic day. That's great information. Thank you so much for coming. The Love Journey, the roadmap.
Love Journey Roadmap.
Love Journey Roadmap.
Yes.
Can't wait to read it.
Yes. I am. So I gave you a few overview of the Love Journey Roadmap, and I will be having another one come out behind that in a couple of months called Life Journey Roadmap. And that's to help people when they do leave home or do leave when they have to step out independently, whether it's a couple that's going separate ways or whether it's a young adult leaving home and have to start out life. They need a plan on how to do that. That's what my second book is about, because I taught this message of Life Journey Roadmap to many high school students, and they were so appreciative. Even just recently, I met a young man who was working in the children's library in Bellwood. And I'm like, you look pretty young. He was a Spanish guy. And I had to look at him because he had all this long curly hair, And I was like, oh, okay, it was a guy. I just wanted to check. I don't mean no harm. And I said, you look like you're about 18, 19. He said, yeah, I just graduated. No, I said, what school you go to? He said, I graduated. I said, okay, but, what school did you go to? And so he told me, I said, well, I'm going to share something special with you. I'm going to give you a freebie. I said, this is what I used to teach to the young people in high school. And that is, when you at home, everything you touch is costing your parents money. You don't think about it. You take it for granted. But when you get out there and have to pay your own bills, it's going to cost you money. And it was mostly for juniors and seniors. And I told them, I said, well, when you all get out there, you all going to have to pay these bills. So you have to choose a career. Well, I like working at McDonald's. Well, then you need to be the manager. Or you need to work at the corporate office so you can make them enough money to prepare your family for a decent life. So I talked to them about how to do that. And they add up all their life expenses that they're going to cover. And I talk about those. And that's where it's a roadmap. And show them how to add it up and come up with how much money they need to make a year. Then they revisit their career and decide, is this the career for me? Or is there anything in this career sector that will cover my lifestyle?
Sure.
The young man was working at McDonald's, and he had just graduated. And I told him, I said, what you want to do in your career? He said, I want to be a cook. I said, well, maybe what you need to do is go to school for culinary arts and then apply to McDonald's corporate office. I said, because even though they selling these little sandwiches for $1.50, $2.50, whatever it is, they pay people big money for research and development in the food industry.
Sure.
So that's where the money's at. So yeah, so I like helping people. And I definitely want to help relationships. And when this parent asked me, going back from the beginning, if I could write something to help mothers and parents, I focused on the couple, because if we got better couples, then they're better equipped to raise their children.
That's awesome. Let's end on that. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate you and giving us the knowledge. And this conversation definitely to be continued. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
The who's, the whys, and the hows are being shared and given to you. Epic Spotlight.